And welcome to another episode of Fit, Fine, and Flowing with Sasha Janae. I just always like to give you guys a twirl. I don't know if you heard from the Giggle Squad, right? But the girls are posting horizontal. So if you see this fit in horizontal, like we're doing the right things, we're on the right track, okay? So this is I Am Activewear per usual. This is the bodysuit I was telling y'all about. This is the bodysuit that I was telling y'all about. I purchased a month ago, a little bit more than a month ago now, in an extra large, and it fit me like snug or whatever. And then I came back to get my second batch, and I'm in a large, and the way that it fits me and everything like that. So, she is supportive here. I do have like the little pasty things, not to keep grabbing my boobies. And then the back here is like my favorite accent there. So this is an excellent fit. I actually took the girls to their open house today in this fit. And the teachers were like, girl, you look so good. Oh my goodness. And what a difference the summer can make. Okay. So welcome ladies to another episode of Fit, Fine, and Flowing with Sasha Janae. I am so happy to be with you, beautiful sisters in flow. Okay. We have some things to talk about. It might be a light, short episode, not because anything's wrong, just because I don't like to beat a dead horse, but I feel like we kind of caught like a little bit of a what do you call it? Series groove. I feel like we kind of caught a series groove, like this week's episode 28, ties into episode 27. And so 29 and 30 will also tie in together. And we're just making one big like loop of reminder about staying focused and staying on track to end 2026 strong. Okay. So welcome ladies. Welcome to my seasoned Sisters in Flow. Welcome to my new Sisters in Flow. This space here is a safe space for women. We're going to talk about how fitness anchors us in other areas of our lives. I'm an entrepreneur. I am a content creator. We're going to talk about that type of stuff. We're going to talk about how mommyhood affects this whole walk and this whole journey from fitness to dating to like everything. And just my lived experience here on this earth and growing together. This is just a safe space, a happy space for the girls and the guys too. Shout out to y'all. So let's get into it. I was doing so good. Hold on. Hair check. I was doing so good, really cutting back on my ums. And I think like it's kind of a nervous thing. I don't know why I'm nervous. First date kind of nervous. It's actually the 28th date kind of nervous. But anyways, I am very happy. You see, I almost did it, but I course corrected. I'm very happy to be here. So let's talk peaks and valleys. Let's talk peaks and valleys. My peak of the week. I actually had a lot of peaks of the week, but I will say, this is my peak of the week. Here it is. Boom. Sometimes when you see me light up, you'll know that like this is the real peak of the week. And then sometimes when like I'm hesitant to tell y'all about it, that just means I came up with it on the spot because so many great things be happening to me. But going back to like being more intentional about things, I want to be more intentional about my peak. So I held on to this all week. So as y'all know, my kids just came back from summer vacation. They were gone pretty much the whole summer. They did a world tour, honestly, South Florida tour, but whatever. So my son and I had this really great heart to heart. And that was my peak of the week. I don't want to tell my baby's business, but I will say that, first of all, he opened up to me. I didn't have to pry conversation out of him. He happily spoke to me like a young man. He has been asking for hugs and like giving me hugs, which is amazing and beautiful. And I love that so much. Also, he just really told me, our conversation really illustrated to me that he's learning and growing and maturing. And I love seeing the young man that he's becoming. So that is certainly, our conversation is the peak of my week. Also, my baby passed his permit test. So if my insurance company sees this, and I'm just playing. So he passed his permit test. I still have to make us the appointments to get his permit so that he can actually start learning to drive. But I'm very excited for him. What a freaking milestone. I feel like because the way my kids' age is staggered, I feel like there's always going to be a new transition because he doesn't graduate next year, for example, but it's his senior year. This year, Gabby is moving. This is her last year of elementary school. Mercy's in second grade, you know what I'm saying? Or she's in first grade, she'll be in second grade. Anyways, my point is that with the way that the kids' ages are staggered, I'm just like constantly like, there's something new, there's a change, there's a maturity level. And I'm just in awe of my babies. It's like, who raised you guys? Because you are really turning into some fantastic people. I was really blessed. Okay, real quick context. I do not believe in like parentifying children. It's like a huge no-no for me in my camp. If you feel like you have that going on in your camp, that is none of my business, and neither am I shaming you or putting you down. In my house, I don't parentify. My son has never changed a diaper. My son has never put the girls in the shower. Like, no, I don't operate like that. Like, I'm their parent. I do all this stuff, right? So, same with the girls. The girls, like, they help more because they're girls and they're closer in age. And of course, Gabby feels like Mercy's her baby doll. So she definitely helps more. And it's just in her nature to be nurturing and help. But today, unprovoked, Gabrielle took her sister's hair down, got her hair shampooed, conditioned, combed out, did her hair for orientation, dressed them like twinsies, had her all glittered up and glossed down for their school orientation. And I just thought, like, unprovoked, I didn't say anything. I just said, hey, you have your orientation. You guys better be ready by 4:30. They handled business. And I was so like, Mercy was happy. They didn't fight. Nobody was calling me saying, hey, she pulled my hair. It like, what a pleasure it is to be a mother right now, right in this moment. Obviously, life is full of ups and downs. You know what I'm saying? We're here, we're there, we're here, we're there, we're everywhere. But like, God has really blessed me with some amazing little people. I might be on here next week talking about some FDK. You know what I'm saying? If you know, you know. Or just be on here like crying about something. But at the end of the day, God is in control. They are gifts to me. They're not mine. They don't belong to me. But it's just really amazing to be like, motherhood is really amazing. Okay. So as far as my valley, I would say my valley work was really slow. And so work was really slow. It was like deathly slow. I was like, oh my God. And I think my problem was it was very slow and I couldn't concentrate. So I couldn't like, it's not that I couldn't, is that I wasn't concentrated enough to do double work at work. So I feel like it didn't necessarily set me back. Well, I guess work being slow set me back because of sales. But I had a very, very light week last week. But this week, this is the longest week I've ever weeked before in my life. I don't know what it is. I don't know what's in this week, but it's been a long week, not a bad week. When I say that, I don't mean it in a bad way. I just mean like, what is in today? Like, what the hell? Anyways, so peaks and valleys out of the way. Please, Sisters in Flow, feel free to share your peaks and valleys with me. That's what this segment is for. This segment is literally just to talk about the amazing things that happen to you and maybe the not so amazing things that happen to you, and kind of get it out. Share it with your sisters. You know, we can pray for you. We can send positive thoughts, or we can like praise God for you and be happy for you and clap for you. That's what peaks and valleys is about, because life is a balance. We're not always going to be on the highest highs, and we're also not always going to be at the lowest lows. The important thing is that we get through that together. Okay. So peaks and valleys is good. Hold on, let me make sure my phone is on do not disturb, because Gabrielle's actually at home right now making cake pops. She's perfecting the cake pop art because cake pops are very expensive, and I'm not taking anybody to Starbucks every single day. So episode 27, if you haven't watched episode 27, pause episode 28, rewind, take your behind back to YouTube, listen to episode 27. We spoke about goals. Okay. Now, we spoke about setting SMART goals. And this week, what we want to do is like, we're going to consider that last week's episode was a seed planted. And this week's episode, we're going to go ahead and water it a little bit. Next week's episode, we're going to put some sunshine in there. And then the following episode, we're going to see the sprouts. So we're getting somewhere, sisters. Okay. And it seems like we're dumbing it all the way down, but sometimes we need a checkpoint that brings us all the way to the beginning and lets us start to rebuild again. So that's basically what we're doing together, because that's personally how I operate. And it is a lot going on right now. The community is growing, y'all. The community is growing. Sisters, sisters, the community is growing. Okay. So now one thing about goals, I'm sitting here and I'm mulling over like, dang, goals, like, okay, now what am I going to talk about? I'm going to talk about fitness goals, weight goals, the huge. No, what I want to talk about is how habits actually carry you through your goals to the finish line. Okay. So today, goals get you started, habits get you there. That's what today is going to be about. All right. I will say that we are exiting ovulation and going into follicular, which isn't a bad thing. And I am no longer in heat. I guess I'm just like in heat for myself because I've really been feeling myself lately. Like when I say really been feeling myself lately, like ladies, what? Everything, every selfie, everything. Okay. So follicular phase, just to go over that with y'all, if we're on the same cycle, follicular phase is basically like, that's when it's time to blossom. I don't know. Ovulation, follicular. Is it time to blossom? I feel like follicular, your ovulation with focus, maybe. Let's say that ovulation with focus. So basically it's time to learn. It's time to like restart some habits and stuff like that. This is a perfect time to start a workout routine. Like say you feel like you've plateaued and you want to up the game for your fitness routine. You want to do that. You want to make sure that you're solid on meal prep. This is probably going to be the most meal preppy solid part of your week, okay, or of your cycle. If you can make it into a habit, then it'll be constant. But this is a perfect time to start meal prepping because now you're not in heat. You have a little bit of focus. You have a little bit of time. You have a little bit of patience. Okay. This is a time to start journaling. We're going to start writing down our feelings because maybe we'll be having a little bit more. And also you're going to want to thank God for ovulation where you feel like Superwoman and you can do anything and everything in the whole wide world. But we have to start sleep training ourselves at some point. And when I say this to y'all, I'm saying this to me because baby, this is my bedtime and sleep routine. Once I get that on point, can't nobody mess with me. You're not gonna hold me down. You're not gonna break my stride. Like you got to get all the way out my way once I can get sleep, rest and recovery regulation on point. And life is about peaks and valleys. So it's not on point yet. Ladies, we're looking for progress, not perfection. Okay. So there's little tiny things, refer back to episode 26 that I'm working on implementing in my personal life. So now follicular phase is a time to try and get into that bedtime routine. Also learning a new skill because you're more focused. So if I wanted to do another class certification, this would be the time I would start because I'm focused. I have that goal getter feeling like I'm motivated, I'm up. This would be the time to start. And then by the time we get to luteal and menstrual, I will have already been too deep in the trenches of starting. I'm not going to stop there. Okay. So follicular is not going to automatically be like make you stick with whatever you start, but it's going to give you that boost that you need to get into that space. Okay. Now, I feel like when we're getting into the main topic, we're talking about habits, right? And I want to talk about goals real quick. So goals are very motivating. Okay. And everybody has heard this. Goals are motivating, but motivation is not, that's like motivation is not false. What happens is people put all their eggs in the basket of motivation. So when that motivation starts to drop, our cycles start to change. Then that's when we go with the start, stop, start, stop, start, stop. And that's why I want to talk about habits because that routine, those habits that you build are what's going to keep you going when that motivation dies. Because goals are really exciting when you write them down, when you set them up on a vision board, when you're having a highly caffeinated conversation with your bestie or your producer or something that gets your brain juices going. But then as soon as that conversation is over, it's like, all right, the end. And so what's going to happen is once you start to make a habit out of these new things and new ideas that you're thinking up, you're going to be able to get yourself even that much better, 1% better every single day. Okay. Now, habits keep us moving when motivation disappears. So a goal versus a habit. The goal would be, I want to lose 30 pounds, right? The habit, so we talked about setting SMART goals. I want to lose 20 pounds. How am I going to do it? I'm going to do it by meal prepping. I want to lose 20 pounds in two 2 weeks. No, 20 pounds in 4 months. Okay. And I'm going to lose 20 pounds in 4 months. That's the goal. Sorry, I got stuck there. I got stuck on repeat. And so, how are we going to make that happen? We've already written down the goal the smart way. Okay. Now it's time to figure out what habits are we going to implement into our daily lifestyle in order to make this goal happen. So if the goal is I want to lose 30 pounds, the habit that you need to have is you need to probably eat nutritious. You need to get rest. You need to get some cardio in. Okay. You need to diet, of course, eat your protein and have like your full meal. Because a lot of us feel like when we want to lose weight, we're gonna stop eating. No, baby, you're gonna eat like a teenage boy if you're doing the right thing. Okay, this is moving our body, cardio. This is weight training. That weight is gonna come up off you and reveal a beautiful hourglass shape if that's what you're seeking, because not every woman is seeking an hourglass shape. Okay, this is what I'm learning. Not every woman wants to be built like a Coke bottle, and that is perfectly fine. Okay. Also, hydration and strength training, right? So the goal is to lose weight. Okay, the SMART goal, even going a step further, the goal is to lose this much weight by this time, and all the acronym for SMART, and then habits to implement behind that, which is very important. The habits are going to create the goal, because once you get to walking, it takes 21 days to make a habit. So a lot of times, like if you follow my social media, you'll see like, okay, the goal is 21 days to blah, blah, blah. If I'm doing 21 days to do anything, it's because I'm really, really working my darndest to create a new habit. 21 days of anything is going to create a new habit. And then from there, you got to convince yourself to keep going with that habit because the habit has already been created. All right. One of the things about success and setting goals and creating the correct lifestyle habits to meet those goals, it is the simplest thing. You're just going to do the same thing over and over again. Okay. Success is boring. Success is lifestyle on repeat. The 1% people, the 1% population of the world. What do I mean by that? The money makers, the 1% of the world, the elite, they do the same thing day in and day out for the most part. Okay. So what do I mean? They wake up at 4:30 a.m., 4 a.m. They work out. They drink. They drink their water. They probably do drink. They drink their water. They, eat their breakfast. They go on their morning jog. Like their routine is so solid. They go to the same park. They go to the same coffee shop. Everything that they do is exactly the same to a T for a 1%er. So oftentimes people say success is boring. Well, if you want to be successful in achieving your goals, you're going to have to create the habits, and then you're going to have to repeat the habits over and over and over again. And ladies, I know that this sounds very, very simple, but a lot of times, just even in the fitness world, we are so excited to work out and we want to do, and then we have access to so much information. So I'm scrolling on TikTok. I know my back and try routine. I know it. It's embedded in my head. Me and Roberta did it the first time, and that's been my back routine, right? But I'll get so excited and I'll be scrolling and I'll be seeing some new stuff. I'll be like, yo, I'm going to try that. I'm going to try that. I'm going to try that. So every time I have the back and biceps, back and tries, I'm switching up my workout, Guess what? The results are not going to come in constant as they would come in if I was sticking to the plan and the habit that I had. Okay, this is my routine. Now I can't really track my results because I keep switching up my routine. Does that make sense? So I really, really want to make it very plain and simple and explain why. Like, hey, listen, this is simple and this is basics, but sometimes we need the basics to get on our game, which is perfectly fine. The process is going to get boring. You're not going to feel like it. But that's when the motivation dwindles down and it becomes a routine. So now you feel weird not doing it. Okay. Now, the habit loop. Your cue is when you wake up. Your routine is maybe, no. I'll stop it before then. Last night I did a thing. And it's so funny because, like I said, I'm on 21 days of cardio, early morning cardio, because I really used to be walking the bridge every single day, and I got out of it. Now I only do it a couple of times. Like, I was doing it 0 times. Now I'm doing it at least 3 times a week. I want to do it every single day, Monday through Friday. It is literally my peace. Like, it's lovely that I'm, my body fat is going down, but I need it for my mental. I be having so much fun over that bridge. I talk to myself. I listen to good music. You cannot walk and twerk, by the way, because you will trip. Sometimes that happens, but nobody sees me because it's early in the morning and who else is up? Anyways, so last night I did a thing. I finally cleaned my bedroom. My bedroom has been a mess since the kids were home. My bedroom has been such a mess that I've been sleeping on the couch. Don't judge me, okay? It was a bunch of clean clothes. Anyways. So I finally cleaned my room, organized my bed. It's all nice and cozy. It's time for bed. But before I lay down, now I could have laid down, but before I laid down, what I did was I said, okay, Wednesday is pod day. So I want to get up in the morning and do my 4:30 a.m. walk. I laid out an outfit for that with bra, with socks, sneakers right up under the chair. Then I got my work outfit out, laid it out with drawers, with bra, with socks, okay? Because I go through a lot of costume changes throughout the day. Then I laid out my podcast outfit because I had so many things to do today. I did not want to be scrambling. I think the only thing I didn't lay out was my weight training outfit because I didn't think I was going to have time to weight train. So I woke up in the morning, full transparency, Sisters in Flow. I talked myself out of that walk this morning. I should have walked and I didn't. I was like, you know what? I don't want to look crazy on pod. I don't want to have these dark circles under my eyes. Jokes on me because I'm tired in a good way. Okay. Anyways, so whatever. I missed out on that. I actually snoozed until about 6:38. But because I had laid my clothes out for work the night before, guess what your sis did? Your sis got to work on time. Okay. Also, breakfast. Breakfast is such an important meal for me. I love to eat. I love to feel full. My body really responds adversely when I do not eat all the food that I need to eat in a day, especially because of how hard I've been training lately. Cardio in the morning, weight training, cardio after. Hard cardio because I've been doing Stairmaster. I'm eating like a teenage boy. So breakfast really starts my day out good. I do not like fasted cardio. Fasted cardio is not for me, ladies. If it's for you, that's your body. It is absolutely not for me. So anyways, I've been eating the same breakfast. Oh, I prepared it, put it in a little baggie, oatmeal, creatine. That's where I put my creatine. It's not flavored. So I do oatmeal, I do creatine, I do chia seeds, I do a scoop of protein powder. And it comes out to like a little over 40 grams of protein to start my day. Okay. And I usually take that to work with me. La, 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 la. I'm a happy girl. I eat, I stay full. Excuse me. This past week, I've been feeling like the oatmeal was getting a little too heavy for me and I wasn't finishing it. So I said, let me go back to the drawing board. I still want my amount of protein. I still want my fiber. But what I decided to do was make smoothies because I used to be the smoothie queen and I was trying to incorporate getting spinach in, like so I could get my daily greens in, which did not work, but I got blueberries. And progress, not perfection. Okay. So this week I already had it in my mind. I knew exactly what I was going to do for food. Okay. Scoop of blueberries, 2 scoops of protein powder, because that gives me 16. I can drink 60 grams of protein before I can like eat it, right, in the oatmeal. So I upped my protein in the morning, blueberries, and then water-based or coconut milk, whatever. So I had everything just laid out. Like I had a plan in place. My mornings have been going super smooth. So I say there's certain cues to creating like a routine and habit that you want to stick to. Okay. So I think that is very important. Of course, we talk about this. I feel like it sneaks into the podcast almost every single week. You're sleeping the amount of time that you should be sleeping. For some people, it is not 7 to 9 hours. Some people can deal with sleeping less than that, but you know when your body tells you it's time to lay down, okay? Strength training, planning your week, drinking enough water, reading 10 pages daily, setting goals every quarter. I think that's why the 75 Hard Challenge is so valuable because it's incorporating all these things that we feel is a challenge, Okay. We feel like it's a hard challenge, but really, any successful person should, in theory, be doing these things. Maybe you can't commit to doing all of these things every single day, but if you plan your day out and you set your routine up to be able to do this, why not? If I think about the lifestyle, the celebrity lifestyle, right? And I think like, wow, they have so much to do. I think I'm doing a lot and I'd be tired networking, content creating, and like whatever. That I'd be like, oh, I'm so exhausted, blah, blah, blah. But then once things scale up and we go to the next level, because there's always going to be a next level, listen, this right here is a drop in the bucket, girl, get used to it. But that's why it's so important to incorporate reading your 10 pages daily, that self-development. That's why it's so important to make sure that you're getting your necessary amount of sleep. Let me tell you, the person I am when I wake up at 4:30 a.m. to do my early morning walks is an amazing, successful, happy girl who gets everything done that day. The person that I am when I press snooze until 6:38 a.m. and I rush around doing everything, even if I had it set out the night before, she gets most of the things done, but she's all day regretting that she didn't get the most important thing done. She didn't get her day started properly. And I don't want that for you, sisters. So if you have this vision of your highest self, like my highest self, my girl gets up before the sun. Okay. My girl does her cardio in the morning. My girl eats a balanced breakfast. She's kind to her kids when she wakes them up. She plays music in the morning. Like my highest self is something else. And she's waiting for me and she's knocking at the door every single time I do something that resembles who I am becoming. Okay. That was a lot, but that's really, really what it is. Now, 5 habits that build the fit, fine, and flowing woman. 5 habits that the Sisters in Flow are basically going to say is our foundation. Moving your body daily, making sure that you're protecting and keeping an eye on your sleep, okay? Speaking kindly to yourself. That is something, and I've been seeing a lot of memes about it, probably because I've been talking about it out loud on my phone and just listening to everything I say. But it seems as though the more progress that you make physically, the more progress that you make physically, the more stuff that you feel like you still need to work on is emphasized. I don't know why I said that like I don't speak the English language, but you know what I'm trying to say, right? It's very crazy. So I look at myself and I'm just like, okay, be nice, be nice, be nice, be nice, be nice. Even though I don't, like, I feel like, girl, you could do this more. I get mad at myself when I feel like I didn't have a solid lift and I'm not like dead. It's just, it is an interesting journey. But again, that's why self-development matters so much. Okay. Review your goals weekly. I was listening to a podcast and I feel so bad because I do not remember this woman's name. I'm really bad at that. Right. This is the woman that she's a Black woman. She's from the UK. I could be wrong, guys. It's the same accent. But she is the one who pioneered Good American. She's the one who pioneered Skims. She's got this big, huge, she's a big deal. Okay. She is like the it girl of female entrepreneur success. And she was speaking about how she writes her goals down. She doesn't just go over her goals weekly. She literally goes over her goals every single day. This is a Black woman. She's got kids. She's got a husband. I mean, Skims and American, Good American, like those are huge multi-million-dollar companies. This is the pioneer of those companies. She starts companies. She invests. She does all the things. Anyways, when I grow up, I want to be like her in a form or fashion. And this is somebody who goes over their goals, not just once a week, but once a day. But sisters, if we're just starting out, writing goals is the first step. Writing SMART goals is the first step. And then you get yourself into the habit of going over them weekly. And then you get so serious that you start to look over them every single day because you want to make sure that you've honored your highest self by doing everything that you set out to do. Okay. These things becoming these little tiny micro habits becoming big habits, constant habits, becoming a part of our routine is going to propel us so much further in whatever the aspiration is. It is going to make motherhood easier. It is going to make your day job easier to function at. I literally write myself a to-do list at my day job, okay? It is going to make building that business, that content platform, anything that you set your mind to, you start to implement the goal setting in this particular manner, and then the routine and the habits in this particular manner, I promise you success. If not, somebody got some woo-woo on you. I'm just playing. Sorry, just playing. So, like I said, ladies, I didn't want to like beat a dead horse on this one. I just want to give you like that swift kick in the pants and that reminder. We're in August, 5 months to the end of 2026. I set some really serious goals. So I would have to believe that my sisters in Flow have set some pretty serious, substantial goals. It's not all about just physically changing. It's about what's happening in here, what's happening here, what's happening here. Okay. Very, very important that we lock in. We don't start slowing down. It's not the end of the race. We have a long way to go, because whatever we accomplish in 2026, we don't have to worry about in 2027. We just hit 2027 in stride. Okay. Now, I want to throw out a challenge to you ladies. I threw out a challenge last week about your SMART goals. So today's challenge is going to be to choose one habit to commit to for the next 21 days. One habit that aligns with your SMART goals to commit to for the next 21 days. Why 21 days? Why? Anybody in the room? Because it takes 21 days to create a new habit. And we want to get this down, routine habit down pat, okay? So maybe you want to walk more and move your body more. If you do not move and you live a sedentary life, 8,000 steps a day is a perfect place to start, okay? If you are going through any huge transition in your life and you need to get that mental and spiritual in order, read 10 pages of whatever. A lot of times self-help books have all these principles that are based on the Bible, if that's your thing. If it's not, find you something that's going to grow your mind while everything around you is constantly moving and changing. Okay. Maybe you want to start stretching. I'm not flexible. Now that I have these muscles, I'm even less flexible. Okay. So one of my goals should absolutely be to stretch for 10 minutes. I started stretching now and warming up before my workouts, because if I don't, I need more oil the next day, like oil like the Tin Man, because, 37, whatever. Writing in your journal. You do not have to do this huge, crazy paragraph, whatever word essay. You don't need that. Write one sentence. Even in your calendar, you can literally use that as your beginning space journal and write down one sentence about the day. And guess what? You've accomplished a goal. You have journaled. Okay. Maybe going to bed 30 minutes earlier for me. I feel like that's not realistic. So I feel like what I'm doing is I'm caffeinating earlier so that my mind can be in sync with a good bedtime, because that has been a problem for me. Also, I am getting the blue light out of my face. Okay. Small habits are going to become your identity. That's what's going to propel you towards your goals. That's what's going to get us there, ladies. Every action you take is literally taking you to either mediocre self or your highest self. And Sisters in Flow, we are flowing towards our highest self. Now, when it comes to all things vagina, I have a vagina, but she is having a dry spell. So I don't want to talk about it. Okay. I hope that's okay with everybody. If you got a good all things vagina story, segment, advice, anything for me, please feel free to reach out to me, because it's dry over here. Things are very mellow. Things are very anyways, I would love that for us. So Sisters in Flow, I also want to let you know or remind you that seats are going actually very fast. Ticket sales have picked up. Seats are limited when it comes to the R&B Spin Experience, August 22nd. Okay. Dress code is going to be all black. You go see Miss Jules at I Am Activewear down in Fort Pierce. You order your little fits however you want to do it. Use my code Sasha20 when you place your order in store or online, okay? Dress code is black. We are going to show up. We're going to show out. I feel like the R&B playlist that we have going is like sexy soft girl. So like before we did some twerking, you know what I'm saying? And this one, I think we're going to be doing like more like sexy, sensual body rolls. We're working on it. We're getting there. But I actually feel like I've locked in on a very soft girl, lover girl playlist. It's going to be a good time. When I tell you, you're going to be like, I thought this was soft girl. I burned 600 calories. Yes, absolutely. That's what we're here for. We're here to get dirty. Okay. So August 22nd, 11 a.m. R&B spin experience at Vero Fitness. They have been kind to allow us to host the event there again. And the dress code is all black. Tickets are going. They're $25 on the flyer. Okay. It is all over my social media. You shoot me a text. First name, last name, email, okay? I am going to send you the payment options. You are going to send the payment. Boom, you're on the list. As simple as that. You and a friend, you solo dolo, do whatever you need to do. Get there. I love you, ladies. It is always a good time being with you. If you have anything that you want to share with me, that you want me to share with the girls, if you have any topics that you're interested in, I appreciate y'all for following this little mini series here on just making sure that we're staying on top of our goals, making sure that we're ending 2026 with pride, not disappointment. Okay. So thank you so much for coming to another episode of Fit, Fine, and Flowing with Sasha Janae.